to Esdras from the Holy Bible, Revised Standard Version, also known as 4 Ezra. Chapter 11. On the second night I had a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle that had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I looked, and behold, he spread his wings over all the earth, and all the winds of heaven blew upon him, and the clouds were gathered about him. And I looked, and out of his wings there grew opposing wings, but they became little puny wings. But his heads were at rest. The middle head was larger than the other heads, but it also was at rest with them. And I looked, and behold, the eagle flew with his wings to reign over the earth and over those who dwell in it. And I saw how all things under heaven were subjected to him, and no one spoke against him, not even one creature that was on the earth. And I looked, and behold, the eagle rose upon his talons, and uttered a cry to his wings, saying, Do not all watch at the same time. Let each sleep in his own place, and watch in his turn. But let the heads be reserved for the last. And I looked, and behold, the voice did not come from his heads, but from the midst of his body. And I counted his opposing wings, and behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side 1 wing arose, and it reigned over all the earth. And while it was reigning, it came to its end and disappeared, so that its place was not seen. Then the next wing arose and reigned, and it continued to reign a long time. And while it was reigning, its end came also, so that it disappeared like the first. And behold, a voice sounded, saying to it, Hear me, you who have ruled the earth all this time. I announce this to you before you disappear. After you no one shall rule as long as you, or even half as long. Then the third wing raised itself up and held the rule like the former ones, and it also disappeared. And so it went with all the wings. They wielded power one after another, and then were never seen again. And I looked, and behold, in due course the wings that followed also rose up on the right side in order to rule. There were some of them that ruled, yet disappeared suddenly, and others of them rose up, but did not hold the rule. And after this I looked, and behold, the 12 wings and the 2 little wings disappeared, and nothing remained on the eagle's body except the 3 heads that were at rest, and 6 little wings. And I looked, and behold, 2 little wings separated from the 6, and remained under the head that was on the right side, but 4 remained in their place. And I looked, and behold, these little wings planned to set themselves up and hold the rule. And I looked, and behold, one was set up, but suddenly disappeared. A second also, and this disappeared more quickly than the first. And I looked, and behold, the 2 that remained were planning between themselves to reign together. And while they were planning, behold, one of the heads that were at rest, the one which was in the middle, awoke, for it was greater than the other 2 heads. And I saw how it allied the 2 heads with itself. And behold, the head turned with those that were with it, and it devoured the 2 little wings which were planning to reign. Moreover, this head gained control of the whole earth, and with much oppression dominated its inhabitants, and it had greater power over the world than all the wings that had gone before. And after this I looked, and behold, the middle head also suddenly disappeared, just as the wings had done. But the 2 heads remained, which also ruled over the earth and its inhabitants. And I looked, and behold, the head on the right side devoured the one on the left. Then I heard a voice saying to me, Look before you, and consider what you see. And I looked, and behold, a creature like a lion was aroused out of the forest, roaring. And I heard how he uttered a man's voice to the eagle, and spoke, saying, Listen, and I will speak to you. The Most High says to you, Are you not the one that remains of the 4 beasts which I had made to reign in my world, so that the end of my times might come through them? You, the 4th that has come, have conquered all the beasts that have gone before, and you have held sway over the world with much terror, and over all the earth with grievous oppression. And for so long you have dwelt on the earth with deceit, and you have judged the earth, but not with truth, for you have afflicted the meek and injured the peaceable. You have hated those who tell the truth, and have loved liars. You have destroyed the dwellings of those who brought forth fruit, and have laid low the walls of those who did you no harm. And so your insolence has come up before the Most High, and your pride to the Mighty One. And the Most High has looked upon his times, and behold, they are ended, and his ages are completed. Therefore you will surely disappear, You, eagle, and your terrifying wings, and your most evil little wings, and your malicious heads, and your most evil talons, and your whole worthless body, so that the whole earth, freed from your violence, may be refreshed and relieved, and may hope for the judgment and mercy of him who made it. While the lion was saying these words to the eagle, I looked, and behold, the remaining head disappeared, and the two wings that had gone over to it arose, and set themselves up to reign. And their reign was brief and full of tumult. And I looked, and behold, they also disappeared. And the whole body of the eagle was burned, and the earth was exceedingly terrified. Then I awoke in great perplexity of mind and great fear. And I said to my spirit, Behold, you have brought this upon me, because you search out the ways of the Most High. Behold, I am still weary in mind and very weak in my spirit, and not even a little strength is left in me, because of the great fear with which I have been terrified this night. Therefore I will now beseech the Most High that he may strengthen me to the end. And I said, O sovereign Lord, if I have found favor in thy sight, and if I have been accounted righteous before thee beyond many others, and if my prayer has indeed come up before thy face, strengthen me and show me thy servant the interpretation and meaning of this terrifying vision, that thou mayest fully comfort my soul. For thou hast judged me worthy to be shown the end of the times, and the last events of the times. He said to me, This is the interpretation of this vision which you have seen. The eagle which you saw coming up from the sea is the fourth kingdom which appeared in a vision to your brother Daniel. But it was not explained to him as I now explain or have explained it to you. Behold, the days are coming when a kingdom shall arise on earth, and it shall be more terrifying than all the kingdoms that have been before it. And 12 kings shall reign in it, one after another. But the second that is to reign shall hold sway for a longer time than any of the other 12. This is the interpretation of the 12 wings which you saw. As for your hearing a voice that spoke, coming not from the eagle's heads, but from the midst of his body, this is the interpretation. In the midst of the time of that kingdom great struggle shall arise, and it shall be in danger of falling. Nevertheless, it shall not fall then, but shall regain its former power. As for your seeing 8 little wings clinging to his wings, this is the interpretation. 8 kings shall arise in it, whose time shall be short and their years swift. And 2 of them shall perish when the middle of its time draws near. And 4 shall be kept for the time when its end approaches, but 2 shall be kept until the end. As for your seeing 3 heads at rest, this is the interpretation. In its last days the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they shall renew many things in it, and shall rule the earth, and its inhabitants more oppressively than all who were before them. Therefore they are called the heads of the eagle. For it is they who shall sum up his wickedness and perform his last actions. As for your seeing that the large head disappeared, one of the kings shall die in his bed, but in agonies. But as for the 2 who remained, the sword shall devour them. For the sword of one shall devour him who is with him, but he also shall fall by the sword in the last days. As for your seeing 2 little wings passing over to the head which was on the right side, this is the interpretation. It is these whom the Most High has kept for the eagle's end. This was the reign which was brief and full of tumult, as you have seen. And as for the lion whom you saw rousing up out of the forest and roaring and speaking to the eagle, and reproving him for his unrighteousness, and as for all his words that you have heard, this is the Messiah whom the Most High has kept until the end of days, who will arise from the posterity of David, and will come and speak to them. He will denounce them for their ungodliness and for their wickedness, and will cast up before them their contemptuous dealings. For first he will set them living before his judgment seat, and when he has reproved them, then he will destroy them. But he will deliver in mercy the remnant of my people, those who have been saved throughout my borders. And he will make them joyful until the end comes, the day of judgment, of which I spoke to you at the beginning. This is the dream that you saw, and this is its interpretation. And you alone were worthy to learn this secret of the Most High. Therefore write all these things that you have seen in a book, and put it in a hidden place, and you shall teach them to the wise among your people, whose hearts you know are able to comprehend and keep these secrets.
2nd Baruch, also known as the Apocalypse of Baruch.
Moreover, it shall be when these things which were predicted have come to pass, that confusion shall fall upon all men, and some of them shall fall in battle, and some of them shall perish in anguish, and some of them shall be destroyed by their own. Then the Most High will reveal these peoples whom he hath prepared before, and they shall come and make war with the leaders that then shall be left. And it shall come to pass that whosoever getteth safe out of the war shall die in the earthquake, and whosoever getteth safe out of the earthquake shall be burned by the fire, and whosoever getteth safe out of the fire shall be destroyed by famine. And it shall come to pass that whosoever of the victors and the vanquished getteth safe out of and escape all these things aforesaid shall be delivered into the hands of my servant Messiah. For all the earth will devour its inhabitants, and the Holy Land shall have mercy on its own, and it shall protect its inhabitants at that time. This is the vision which thou hast seen, and this is the interpretation. For I have come to tell thee these things, because thy prayer hath been heard with the Most High. Hear now also concerning the bright lightning, which is to come at the consummation after these black waters. This is the word. After the signs have come, of which thou wast told before, when the nations become turbulent, and the time of my Messiah is come, he shall both summon all the nations, and some of them he shall spare, and some of them he shall slay. These things therefore shall come upon the nations which are to be spared by him. Every nation which knoweth not Israel, and hath trodden down the seed of Jacob, shall indeed be spared. And this because some of every nation shall be subjected to thy people. But all those who have ruled over you, or have known you, shall be given up to the sword. But regarding consolation, hear ye the word. For I was mourning regarding Zion, and I prayed for mercy from the Most High, and I said, How long will these things endure for us? And will these evils come upon us always? And the Mighty One did according to the multitude of his mercies, and the Most High according to the greatness of his compassion. And he revealed unto me the word, that I might receive consolation. And he showed me visions, that I should not again endure anguish. And he made known to me the mystery of the times, and the advent of the hours he showed me. Therefore, my brethren, I have written to you, that ye may comfort yourselves regarding the multitude of your tribulations. For know ye that our Maker will assuredly avenge us on all our enemies, according to all that they have done to us. Also that the consummation which the Most High will make is very high, and his mercy that is coming, and the consummation of his judgment is by no means far off. For lo, we see now the multitude of the prosperity of the Gentiles, though they act impiously, but they shall be like a vapor. And we behold the multitude of their power, though they do act wickedly, but they shall be made like unto a drop. And we see the firmness of their might, though they resist the Mighty One every hour, but they shall be accounted as spittle. And we consider the glory of their greatness, though they do not keep the statutes of the Most High. But as smoke shall they pass away. And we meditate on the beauty of their gracefulness, though they have to do with pollutions, but as grass that withers shall they fade away. And we consider the strength of their cruelty, though they remember not the end thereof. But as a wave that passeth shall they be broken. And we remark the boastfulness of their might, though they deny the beneficence of God, who gave it to them. But they shall pass away as a passing cloud. For the Most High shall assuredly hasten his times, and he shall assuredly bring on his hours. And he shall assuredly judge those who are in his world. And he shall visit in truth all things by means of all their wicked works. And he shall assuredly examine the secret thoughts, and that which is laid up in the secret chambers of all the members of man. And he shall make them manifest in the presence of all with reproof. Let none, therefore, of these present things ascend into your hearts, but above all, let us be expectant, because that which is promised to us shall come. And let us not now look unto the delights of the Gentiles in the present, but let us remember what he has promised to us in the end. For the ends of the times and of the seasons, and whatsoever is with them, shall assuredly pass by together. The consummation, moreover, of the age shall then show the great might of its ruler, when all things come to judgment. Do ye, therefore, prepare your hearts for that which before ye believed, lest ye come to be in bondage in both worlds, so that ye be led away captive here, and be tormented there. For as to that which existeth now, or hath passed away, or which is to come, in all these things, neither is the evil fully evil, nor again the good fully good. For all healthiness of this time are turning into diseases, and all might of this time is turning into weakness, and all the force of this time is turning into impotence, and every energy of youth is turning into old age and consummation, and every beauty of gracefulness of this time is turning faded and hateful, and every proud dominion of the present is turning into humiliation and shame, and every praise of the glory of this time is turning into the shame of silence, and every vain splendor and insolence of this time is turning into voiceless ruin, and every delight and joy of this time is turning into worms and corruption, and every clamor of the pride of this time is turning into dust and stillness, and every possession of riches of this time is being turned into Sheol alone, and all the rapine of passion of this time is turning into involuntary death, and every passion of the lusts of this time is turning into a judgment of torment, and every artifice and craftiness of this time is turning into a proof of the truth, and every sweetness of unguents of this time is turning into judgment and condemnation, and every love of lying is turning to contumely through truth. Since therefore all these things are done now, doth anyone think that they will not be avenged? But the consummation of all things shall come to the truth. For behold, the days come, and the book shall be opened, in which are written the sins of all those who have sinned, and again also the treasuries in which the righteousness of all those who have been righteous in creation is gathered. For it shall come to pass at the time that thou shalt see, and many that are with thee, the long suffering of the Most High, which hath been throughout all generations, who hath been long suffering towards all who are born, alike those who sin and those who are righteous. And I answered and said, But behold, O Lord, no one knoweth the number of those things which have passed, nor yet of those things which are to come. For I know indeed that which hath befallen us, but what will happen to our enemies I know not, and when thou wilt visit thy works. And he answered and said unto me, Thou too shalt be preserved till that time, till that sign which the Most High will work for the inhabitants of the earth in the end of days. This therefore shall be the sign, when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth, and they shall fall into many tribulations, and again when they shall fall into great torments. And it shall come to pass, when they say in their thoughts by reason of their much tribulation, The Mighty One doth no longer remember the earth. Yea, it will come to pass, when they abandon hope, that the time will then awake. And I answered and said, Will that tribulation which is to be continue a long time, and will that necessity embrace many years? And he answered and said unto me, Into 12 parts is that time divided, and each one of them is preserved for that which is appointed for it. In the first part there shall be the beginning of commotions, and in the second part there shall be slayings of the great ones, and in the third part the fall of many by death, and in the fourth part the sending of the sword, and in the fifth part famine and the withholding of rain, and the sixth part earthquakes and terrors, and in the eighth part a multitude of spectres and attacks of the Shadim, and in the ninth part the fall of fire, and in the 10th part rapine and much oppression, and in the 11th part wickedness and unchastity, and in the 12th part confusion from the mingling together of all those things aforesaid. For these parts of that time are reserved, and shall be mingled one with another, and minister one to another. For some shall leave out some of their own, and receive in its own stead from others, and some shall complete their own, and of that of others, so that those may not understand who are upon the earth in those days, that this is the consummation of the times. Nevertheless, whosoever understandeth shall then be wise. For the measure and reckoning of that time are 2 parts, a week of 7 weeks. And I answered and said, It is good for a man to come and behold, but it is better that he should not come lest he fall. But I will say this also, will he who is incorruptible despise those things which are corruptible? And whatever befalleth in the case of those things which are corruptible, so that he might look only to those things which are not corruptible? But if, O Lord, those things shall assuredly come to pass which thou hast foretold to me, so do thou show this also unto me, if indeed I have found grace in thy sight. Is it in one place or in one of the parts of the earth that those things are to come to pass? Or will the whole earth experience them? And he answered and said unto me, Whatever shall then befall, shall befall the whole earth. Therefore all who live shall experience them. For at that time I will protect only those who are found in those selfsame days in this land. And it shall come to pass, when all is accomplished that was to come to pass in those parts, that the Messiah shall then begin to be revealed. And Behemoth shall be revealed from his place, and Leviathan shall ascend from the sea, those 2 great monsters which I created on the 5th day of creation, and shall have kept until that time.
The Apocalypse of Abraham. But while he was still speaking to me, I found myself once again upon the earth, and I said, Eternal One, I am no longer in the glory that is on high, and there is one matter that my soul longed to know and understand which has not been revealed to me. And he said to me, What your heart desired I will tell you, because you have sought to see the 10 plagues which I have prepared for the godless nations, and which have been predetermined at the passing over of the 12th hour of the age of the earth. Hear therefore what I divulge, and so it shall come to pass. First is the distressing pain of sickness. The second, conflagration of many cities. The third, the destruction and pestilence of animals. The fourth, hunger of the whole world and its people. The fifth, by destruction among its rulers, by earthquake and the sword. The sixth, with the multiplication of hail and snow. The seventh, wild beasts will be their grave. The eighth, hunger and pestilence will alternate with destruction. The ninth, punishment by the sword and flight in distress. The 10th, thunder and voices and destructive earthquake. And then I will sound the trumpet out of the air, and will send my elect one, having in him all my power in one measure. And he shall summon my despised people from all nations, and I will send fire upon those who have insulted them and who have ruled over them in this age. And I will give those who have covered me with mockery to the scorn of the coming age. And I have prepared them to be food for the fires of Hades, and perpetual flight through the air in the underworld, for they shall see the righteousness of the Creator, and those whom he now honors, and they shall be ashamed. For I had hoped that they would come to me in repentance, rather than loving strange gods. But they forsook the mighty Lord, and went the way that they willed to go. Hear therefore, Abraham, and see. For behold, in the 7th generation from you, they shall leave the land of their slavery, after they have been ill-treated, as it were for an hour of the age of ungodliness. And the nation whom they shall serve, I will judge.
To Esdras, from the Holy Bible. For many miseries will affect those who inhabit the world in the last times, because they have walked in great pride. But think of your own case, and inquire concerning the glory of those who are like yourself. Because it is for you that paradise is opened, the tree of life is planted, the age to come is prepared, plenty is provided, a city is built, rest is appointed, goodness is established, and wisdom perfected beforehand. The root of evil is sealed up from you, illness is banished from you, and death is hidden. Hell has fled and corruption has been forgotten. Sorrows have passed away, and in the end the treasure of immortality is made manifest. Therefore do not ask any more questions about the multitude of those who perish, for they also received freedom, but they despised the Most High, and were contemptuous of his law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have even trampled upon his righteous ones, and said in their hearts that there is not God, though knowing full well that they must die. For just as the things which I have predicted await you, so the thirst and torment which are prepared await them. For the Most High did not intend that men should be destroyed, but they themselves who were created have defiled the name of him who made them, and have been ungrateful to him who prepared life for them. Therefore my judgment is now drawing near. I have not shown this to all men, but only to you and a few like you.
Second Baruch, also known as the Apocalypse of Baruch.
And it shall come to pass, when he hath brought low everything that is in the world, he hath sat down in his peace for the age on the throne of his kingdom, that joy shall then be revealed, and rest appear. And then healing shall descend in dew, and disease shall withdraw, and anxiety and anguish and lamentation shall pass from amongst men, and gladness shall proceed through the whole earth, and no one again shall die untimely, nor shall any adversity suddenly befall, and judgments and revilings and contentions and revenges, and blood and passions, and envy and hatred, and whatever things are like these shall go into condemnation when they are removed. For it is these things which have filled this world with evil, and on account of these the life of man has been greatly troubled. And wild beasts shall come from the forest and minister unto men, and asps and dragons shall come forth from their holes to submit themselves to a little child. And women shall no longer have the pain when they bear, nor shall they suffer torment when they yield the fruit of the womb. And it shall come to pass in those days that the reapers shall not grow weary, nor those that build be toil-worn, for the works shall of themselves speedily advance, with those who do them in much tranquillity. For that time is the consummation of that which is corruptible, and the beginning of that which is not corruptible. Therefore those things which were predicted shall belong to it. Therefore it is far away from evils, and near to those which die not. This is the bright lighting which came after the last dark waters.